I've been using Windows my entire life and I've always been loyal to them. But then 3 months ago, I made the switch to Mac. And let me tell you, it's been a wild ride. Some things just made me go completely crazy, wanting to return the whole laptop. But then I realized every time I wanted to work, I kept creeping back to the laptop. In this video, I want to share my experience in using the Mac. Hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Elabeh Mohammed, a system engineer based in the UK. And on this channel, we delve into the worlds of tech, tools, productivity strategies to turn our dreams into reality. Before I get into the initial impression, I just want to talk to you about what this MacBook is and the specs behind everything. So it's a MacBook Pro 14-inch and it's got 12 cores CPU and it's got 19 cores GPU. I did also upgrade the RAM from the starting, I believe, 16 gigabytes to 32 gigabytes, and I left the hard drive storage the same, but I wish I increased it because I realized it's not enough for me. So let me tell you my experience. When I first got the laptop, unboxed it, put it on the table, it looked beautiful. Like the way they do their packaging is amazing, but the thing that stood out to me the most was their speaker system. Like the quality that comes out of these speakers, literally every time I want to play something. And in this channel, we delve into the worlds of tech, tools, and productivity strategies. Do you know what's amazing about it is the bass. No matter what you're watching, if it's a movie, YouTube, you're listening to anything, podcast, it's so rich. Like, I'd rather listen to this than put on headsets nowadays. Normally, I like to put on my headset because every laptop that I used to have, no matter what laptop I'm using, it was outrageously bad. Now, I used to always argue with my friend Raheem, like, he's got like a MX Master, was it MX Keys, I believe. I always wanted the mechanical keyboard again because I'm redoing my whole setup at home. We were always going back and forth saying, yo, which one's better, mechanical keyboards? And he's on like soft, silent keys, and I've got to give it to him. These keyboards, especially these ones on the MacBook, amazing. It just feels so comfortable, like pressing any keys. Like I've realized every time I'm typing, depending on certain keyboards, I do tend to mistype, but I've realized on these keys, they're laid out pretty decent. Another thing that I seem to realize, and maybe it's because I used to have a Windows machine, and every time I install the application, you know how Windows is, you run it, an exe file, and then from there, you either press next, and you carry on, and there's an install process, you're watching how long is it gonna take, and it's done. But for Mac, it's got a different approach. It's pretty weird. It's like, you've got the application pop up and it will open up a screen. Well, whatever file, I believe it's a DMG file. Once you download the DMG file, you open it up and there's an icon of the application you're trying to install. For you to actually install it, all you do is you drag it into the application folder. It was strange, like the first time that I tried to install something on this machine, I was thinking, has it installed? What's going on? I was literally confused. I did not know what was going on. But then I realized afterwards, searched the application, searched the internet, like what's this? And yeah, that's Mac's way of installing. So yeah, that was one of my funny impressions, but been on Windows my whole life and it's a whole different environment. Now, let me tell you exactly what annoyed me about this MacBook. And these are the few things that really sometimes got me to think, yo, I need to return this. I can't hack it. It's not for me. I'm not built for this. One of the first one, this is not in order, but one of the things that annoyed me was the dock bar. I do not understand why they designed their dock bar like this. And it's just confusing. And whenever I'm trying to find the application I've used or I'm on, it's like, first of all, there's these little dots that are below applications. And I believe sometimes, yeah, it's that I've opened it up and then I go onto it, there's no applications open. So what is this dot that's at the bottom, first of all? Like, it's confusing. And then also sometimes I have certain, like, for example, couple finders open, but there's no way identifying how to open which finder. Once I press it, it just opens up any of it. It's just confusing. I've always been used to having, well, in Windows, I customize my Windows bar, so every application has its own tab. If I've got multiple windows open or finders open, it's gonna display in different tabs, so I know which one I wanna open. But here, it just mashes everything up and it will just open up a random one. So yeah, that's the first thing that I don't like about the dock bar. The second thing is, why can't I differentiate? Because I like to use, do you know the whole desktop fuse where you've got multiple selections of desktop and all you do is you force swipe to each desktop, I like to keep my tabs separate. So depending on what desktop I'm in, I just want to see my dock bar with them applications. I don't want to see all these extra bits and bobs that's going to be throwing me around everywhere. I like to keep myself organized into certain areas. Okay, I'm doing this work here. I've got these stuff opened here. However, Mac wanted to design this. I'm not sure why. Maybe there's ways to do it. But one thing that I've realized is every Mac user does not know how to use their own Mac. And I'll give you that example. I'm used to either when I'm transferring a file over that's going into my PC or out of my PC. On Windows, I've always been used to some sort of file transfer, like meta information, where it lets you know how fast is it going, how long has it got left. For some reason, all you have for Mac is just, oh, you've got 10 minutes left. For example, if I bought a 10 gigabyte Ethernet cable and I plugged it into my NAS, how do I know if I'm utilized? How am I diagnosing it? And yeah, I try to ask everyone, how do I do this? Anyone that's got a Mac, I ask them, how do I do this? And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. They're acting like these type of stuff don't exist. And there are certain applications that you can download. And from there, you can see what your megabytes per second or the speed of your transfer is. But yeah, that aside, the Finder was one of the biggest things that annoyed me. If I wanted to highlight a certain section, and I've always been used to it, where you press it and then you hold shift and then you press the last one that you want to copy to. But when it's an icon view, it doesn't seem to work. Like I would have to separately press everything. And I was confused, like, why is that not working? But then I realized, okay, if I put it into either a grid, like an icon and column view, I can press the first one and then drag it and then press the bottom one and then it selects all of them. So I'm thinking, why is it working here and not working there? It's long. Why can't I just do it through icons? Like it just didn't make sense for me. And the final thing, this was probably one of the reasons why I almost returned my Mac. And I've got a few docking stations. Some of them are fairly pricey. I thought to myself, okay, I've got the MacBook, I've got a few docks, let me just connect them up. And in the office, I've got like a dual monitor set up and I plugged in my docking. And when I plugged into my laptop, I've realized one of my monitors is not working. And I'm thinking, is it broken? Is it the cable? What could it be? What could be this reason why my laptop's not connecting to the dock? And I found out after hard research that you need certain docks. You can't, like, look how many docks are. Okay, I've got one here, I've got one here, I've got another one, 2 HDMI cables. In my disposal, I've got a few docking stations. It does not make sense, and I've paid a lot of money for this MacBook, like almost £3,000, and you can't connect to any he say, she say dock. Like it does not make sense. Why am I paying that much and you can't do something simple like that? And it pissed me off. And I realized you have to buy a specific dock that has display link technology. For me to do a more cleaner setup, I need to spend another £300. But all of that aside, I kept creeping back to this laptop. No matter if it's designing a website, editing a video, I could have made the decision to return it, but I realized no matter where I am, I've got it in my lap. First thing has to go to the screen quality. This is probably the best screen I've ever seen on a laptop. And I do like the fact with the display settings, you can have certain presets on. So if I'm ever designing a website or editing a video, a photo, there's certain presets I can enable just so it's better. With that 1600 nits, oh my, that brightness. I used to always hear people saying, you need to try the MacBook trackpad. You need to try it out. I've tried the Dell trackpads, the Dell XPS, and they're nice. But these, I don't know if it's the 3D, what is this, that touch, the gestures, everything about it is just spot on. It just feels so nice, especially scrolling on a website. I tried it with my MX Master. When I scrolled on a website from that to this trackpad, the smoothness, listen, just scrolling itself, I'm satisfied. I could be scrolling all day long, especially with these gestures, the way I can just move from desktop. Yeah, trackpad's amazing. Another good experience that I had by using a MacBook, and this only applies if you've got an iPhone and an Apple Watch. If you're already in some way into the Apple ecosystem, syncing everything together was just a whole different game. I can have a picture on my phone, I could take a video by just simply airdropping it to my laptop, it's already there. Or forget about that, there's photos here. So anything that's already synced to my iCloud, which I already, a lot of stuff is, I can just open up my photos. All my photos are there. Notes. Now I use notes a lot. That's the first place I'll go to dump everything. If I ever want to carry on or quickly pick it up, I just go to my notes here. And this is what kind of blew me away a little bit. So once I got a phone call and I was sitting, next minute, everything started buzzing. I used to, I'm not wearing it now, but I've got Apple Watch, the iPhone, and the MacBook. They all started buzzing. They all started screaming, and I was confused. I was like, huh? You can pick up here. What? And this was a normal call. I believe like when your phone is near the premises or connected to the same Wi-Fi or some sort, your phone gets put through here. So FaceTime, you can message people. And first I thought it was just iMessage, but my actual messages were coming up. So looking at all the problems, the benefits, the main reason why I didn't return this laptop, it's so much more efficient than the laptop I had. The battery life on this is amazing. By doing light work, I can push 7 hours, 8 hours. Once it gets heavy and I start editing and rendering, it might push down to 4, but I'm satisfied. So yeah, that should tell you it. I will not be returning this because this is destroying my current Windows laptop. Wait, let me show you my Windows laptop first of all. Look at this beast. Look at that. I'm definitely not returning it. I might make a video again, maybe probably down 6 months down the line, where I'll give you more of my feedback, how I think, what went well, what did I find, any of the problems that I had, did I find a solution? Because I do look at myself still new into the Mac ecosystem. Currently, I'm happy with the laptop and I'm hoping that you're happy with this video as well. So make sure to like, comment and subscribe, guys. See you in the next one. Peace out.